Tells? Tells? Jaya Radha Madhuma Kunda Bihari Madhuma Kunda Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paracharya Osatela Satashi Shimad His Divine Grace Sabaya Chalananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Shridas Thakur ki jai. Pranse Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shaima Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavanam ki jai. Mathuranam ki jai. Jagadada Swami ki jai. Yavunamai ki jai. Srimati Dev joy. Samvedavata Vrindi ki jai. Go Premananda Hari 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 Bo. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glory is the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namaham Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prachani Nirvishesha Shunya Vali Paschacha Deja Tarani. All right, so we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 16th chapter, text 34. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yo Vai Mamati Baram Asura Vamsha Ragyam Akshahini Shatam Apanudad Atma Tantra Twam Dushtam Unam Padam Atmani Purushena Sampadhayan Yadushu Ramyam Abhibrad Angam Yo Vai Mamati Paramasuravam Shuragyam Apshani Shatamapanu Tadatma Tantra Tvam Dushtamuna Padamatmani Purashena Sampadayam Yadushuram Yam Vipradangam Yo Vai Mamati Paramasuravam Sharakyam Akshawani Shatamapanu Tadatma Tantra Am Dushtamuna Padamatmani Purashena Sampadayam Yadusharam Yam Vipradangam Yo Vai Mamati Paramasuravam Sharakyam Akshawani Satamapanu Dadatma Tatra Tvam Dushtamuna Padamatmani Purashena Sampadayam Yadusharam Yam Vipradangam Sarangam. Okay. Ladies. Yam, he who, Vai, certainly, Mama, mine, Adiparam, too burdensome, Asura Vamsha, unbelievers, Ragnam, of the kings, Akshohiti, one military division. Shatam, hundreds of such divisions. Apanudat, extirpated. It means gotten rid of, for those who don't know. Atmatantra, self-sufficient. Tvam, unto you. Dushtam, put into difficulty. Unapadam, devoid of strength to stand. Atmani, internal. Purushena, by dint of energy. Sampadayan, for executing. Yadushu, in the Yadu dynasty. Ramyam, transcendently beautiful. Abhiprat, accepted. Angam, body. So translation, O personality of religion, I was greatly overburdened by the undue military phalanxes arranged by atheistic kings, and I was relieved by the grace of the personality of Godhead. Similarly, you were also in a distressed condition, weakened in your standing strength. And thus, he also incarnated by his internal energy in the family of the Yadus to relieve you. So, purport by his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The asuras want to enjoy a life of sense gratification, even at the cost of others' happiness. In order to fulfill this ambition, the asuras, especially atheistic kings or state executive heads, try to equip themselves with all kinds of deadly weapons to bring about a war in a peaceful society. They have no ambition other than personal aggrandizement. That's a big word for all of you. That means they just want things for themselves. That's basically what their word wants. You know, just opulence, power, prestige, everything. That aggrandizement pretty much is an all-encompassing word. And thus Mother Earth feels overburdened by such undue increases of military strength. By increase of the asuric population, those who follow the principles of religion become unhappy, especially the devotees or devas. In such a situation, the personality of Godhead incarnates to vanquish the unwanted asuras and to reestablish the true principles of religion. This was the mission of Lord Sri Krishna, and he fulfilled it. Okay, in the verse. Yuvaima bhakti paramasaravam shapitragyam akshangani shatakapanu tadatmatantra Tvam dushtamuna padamatmani purushrishena sampadayanya dushuramyam abhipradangam. So Om Ganat Timirandasha Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshurun Midikam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha. So there's several words here in the translation, actually, they're really important. And I'm going to touch upon some of those words. One is Asura Vamsha, and Prabhupada translates that as the unbelievers, but we're going to further elaborate on that particular word. So, just like Krishna, he appeared in what Vamsha? What? Who? Yaduvamsha, and also originally that's from what planet? What's the moon planet called? No, in Sanskrit. Soma. Soma Vamsha. Remember that? And Lord Ramchandra appeared in what Vamsha? Surya Vamsha. So generally, the Kshatris, they come from these two Vamshas. Surya Vamsha and Soma Vamsha. So Vamsha actually means, it's almost like a family. You understand? So even though it's translated here as unbeliever, it means the family of Asuras. And so, really to understand this word properly in the context of this particular verse, one has to understand what Krishna dealt with when he came down and who he was dealing with. In order to understand that, you have to refer to the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So what is the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam? Generally, the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam deals with the fighting between the Suras and the Asuras, or the Sura Vamsha and Asura Vamsha. You know, family of the demons of the family. They come in families. and we'll explain what I mean by that. Of course, in the universal affairs, the demons, usually they're born from Diti or Danu, Danavas and Daityas, like that. And so what happened is that, see if I can remember all the details of the story in the 8th canto, but the demigods became very weak because they disrespected Brahaspati, their spiritual master. And the demons became very, very strong. And so, because of that, demigods basically had lost their position in the heavenly planets. So even if someone goes to the heavenly planets, there's still anxiety, fear, and distress. You understand? Because in any minute, things can be taken away from you. And there's also envy. Like Indra gets envy of Krishna because Krishna won't do the Indra Puja. So can you imagine that? Why is he so envious just because he didn't get worshipped in one village on the earth planet? It's kind of stupid, isn't it? One village, there's so many other villages where they're worshiping him. One little tiny village, one tiny little boy, Krishna's not worshiping him. And he gets angry. So you see the demigods, they're suffering in many different ways. So anyway, so the demigods, they were losing. And so when the demigods lose, what do? They get their mobile phones and they call for Lord Brahma. And they say, my dear Lord Brahma, this is before Krishna appeared, way before Krishna appeared. We're not telling the 10th canto story right now. They called for Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma said, you better go see the boss. Lord Vishnu stated, because when in doubt, call the boss up. So they went and they were told, Lord Vishnu told them directly, you're all hopeless. You're not going to be able to defeat the demons. So the only recourse, the only way you can deal with this is to make a deal with the demons. If you can't beat them, join them, as they say. So you should make a deal, and here's the deal you should make. You should both get together and churn the milk ocean. And this nice thing called, and it'll make you strong and almost immortal. The demigods are called Amara, which means they don't die. But they actually do die, but it's a long period of time. Therefore, Indra becomes a little humble, and he goes to the head of the demons, Bali Maharaj, actually, at that time. And he goes to Bali Maharaj, and he says, please have my humble obeisances. We need to make a deal. So that in those days, even the demons were actually civilized. They had a truce, they respected the truce. And when there was fighting, they just fought each other. They didn't go into the villages, and generally they didn't go into the villages and take the women and everything, like modern day fighting. You understand? Like you hear about Ukraine, what's happening. So anyway, so Indra said, I have this deal for you. Let's work together and churn the milk ocean and get Amrit. And the demons thought, yeah, good idea. Okay. So they make the deal. They're going to use Mount Mandura as the churning rod. And so they all go together to get Mount Mandura to bring as the churning rod. And basically it's too heavy. It crushes them all, practically kills them all. And then Lord Vishnu has to come and put the Mount Mandura on the back of Garuda and take Mount Mandura to the place, the milk ocean. And so they put the Mount Mandura there, but then Mount Mandura starts sinking. And so what are we going to do? So the Lord Vishnu has to appear as Kurma Dev. And he said, okay. And they put the mountain on, and then the mountain starts tilting. So the Lord Vishnu has to go on top of the mountain too. So he's there in many different incarnations. He's on top of the mountain, on the bottom of the mountain, and he's also one of the personalities who are pulling the rope. And the rope, of course, is Vasuki. And the demons, they say, actually, we are better than you, demigods. So we should keep the head. And you should have the tail. You know, tails are not considered so auspicious, you know, the rear end. And so they didn't understand from the head comes bad breath. And the serpent's bad breath is really bad. It can kill you. Serpents don't use mouthwash. So the demons were fainting and everything like that. And then Lord Vishnu had to join in. They were churning. I'm going to go real quickly through the thing. Churning. Different things happened from this milk ocean. Lakshmi came out, and of course everybody was interested in her, but she was just interested in Lord Vishnu. Then this hala hala poison came out. It was going to kill everybody in the universe. And then Lord Shiva, he drank it, his throat turned blue because of that. I mean, so many stories occurred because of this. You know, Indra got his elephant, and their horses came out, and all sorts of interesting things came out. Eventually, Dhanvantari, the doctor incarnation of Krishna, comes out. So there's many incarnations. There's Dhanvantari, there's Kurma, there's Krishna, Vishnu above the hill, there's Vishnu pulling the thing. And then Dhanvantari was also an expansion of Krishna. So he comes out, and he's holding this pot of nectar, of Amrit. And so what happens at that point is the demons grab it. And the demons are fighting with each other, you know, mine. Like criminals sometimes say, they steal something, they say, let's divide this up honestly. Fairly. They're already rascals. There's no fairness. So then the demigods are really upset. You know, what's going to happen? We made a deal. They didn't give up their end of the deal. So again, they call for Lord Vishnu. It's interesting. So the reason that they're demons is so that it keeps the demigods Krishna conscious. Isn't it? Because you see it every second they're calling, Lord Vishnu, oh my God, we made another mistake. Lord Vishnu, come, please come. So Lord Vishnu says, okay, I'll take care of it. He turns himself into this very beautiful lady, Mohini Murti. And he goes in front of the demons. And the demons look at him and say, Hari Bol. You know, whatever they're saying. I don't know what they said. They said, And they said, you know, we have a problem. Can you help us divide this equally? And Mohini says, you can't trust me. How can you trust me? I mean, you don't even know me. You know, just some attractive lady. And they said, we trust you. Here's a bewilderment. When someone's in love, oh my God, they become stupid. Isn't it? That is really stupid. It's described that people are in love. It's like taking cocaine. The same, brain scan, you know, MRI. They've done MRIs and people are in love. And they discovered this. So the demons said, no, we trust you. Okay, boys, let's go. And so she takes the nectar and she gives it to the demigods. But some of the demons actually understand, like Rahul and Ketu, they understand. They drink and Rahul gets his head cut off like that. And so then right after that, the demons are really upset. There's another fight. Bang, bang, you know, they're killing each other. Again and again and again. And then what happens at that point, many of the demons die. And then they go to their Guru Maharaj, who was still alive, Shukracharya. He says, you know, actually even Bali Maharaj was dead. And so Shukracharya has this Mritu Sanjivani. And he brings all the demons back to life. And they start fighting again with the demigods. And then There's more fighting, okay. More fighting, the demigods, okay, the demons win again. And then Bali Mars is in charge. I mean, I may have had the sequence wrong, but Bali Mars is in charge of the heavenly planets again. Then Lord Vamanadev has to appear. Lord Vamanadev, the dwarf incarnation of Krishna, to interfere with the sacrifice of Bali Maharaj, and he takes everything away from Bali Maharaj so that the demigods can get back their kingdom. Okay. And then there's more fighting between demons and demigods. And many of them get killed, like Kalanemi, and Kalanemi became Kamsa, you understand? And Viprachiti. Anyway, so many demons got killed at this point by Lord Vishnu. And then the demons, somehow or other, even when the demons get killed, they can actually choose their next birth. You know, they have this power, somehow or other. So somehow or other they planned it out that we got to go somewhere where we're not going to be attacked anymore. We have to go somewhere where we're safe. So they're looking around the universe. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe. Ah, the Earth planet. So they all come down to the Earth planet, and they take birth on the Earth planet in Kshatriya families. So this is the reason the words used here are Asura Vamsha, because they're all descendants. They're all coming to the Vamsha of the demons. You know, there's Jarasandha, I believe it was Viprachiti, and then Kalanemi became Kamsa. You understand? So they all just incarnated like that. Of course, Bali was somewhere else. You know, he was Bali. He was actually in the netherworlds, pushed down by Lord Vishnu. So he wasn't joining them, even though Bali was born in the demon family. He was a devotee. He was the grandson of Prahlad Maharaj. So Bali wasn't involved in this whole thing at this particular point. So all these demons were there, and they just developed a safe place for themselves. And they were harassing the Earth planet. And so eventually Krishna had to come down. So Krishna made this arrangement so he could have the fun of killing the demons. You know, gets them all together at one point. Krishna enjoys this. There was actually no reason why they had to do that. Krishna could have killed them simply by wishing them to be dead. It's Krishna's arrangement that there were demons. It's Krishna's arrangement there are demons in the universe. It's Krishna's arrangement there is opposition to our Krishna consciousness movement. Because it gives us an opportunity to fight for Krishna. Prabhupada said, we want devotees who are like fighters, not sit-down devotees. We are fighters, not in a sense we don't go around killing people, obviously. You know, it's not that. But we fight for Krishna in whatever way is necessary, which means by preaching Krishna consciousness. Preaching Krishna consciousness is in the mood of a Kshatriya. You understand? We're saving the world. Like someone who's just Brahman, he just sits down. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. You know, he's very happy. So, Shanti Cha, Ramanti Cha. Isn't it? You know that? There's Majata, Magata, Prana, Padyantas, Parasparam, Katyantas, Jamam, Nicham. Shanti Cha, Ramanti Cha. He's always chanting Krishna's glories, Haribo, like that. But a Vaishnava in Kali Yuga, yes, he's always chanting Krishna's glories, but at the same time, he's fighting for Krishna in so many different ways. And, you know, I see that in my own service, GBC service, that sometimes we have to fight against the suras. And there's so many issues that occur sometimes in the Krishna conscious movement. We have, sometimes there's abuse of children that occurs because it's Kali Yuga. It's people do unimaginable things. And we have to fight for Dharma. You understand? Because actually it said that in previous ages, the Kshatriyas, of course, were demons when Krishna appeared. But in the age of Kali, sometimes the demons take birth in Brahmin families. That means even sometimes in the Krishna conscious movement, we may have Kali Chelas. Now, don't go around point out to your friends, you're a Kali Chela. You're a Kali Chela. Kali means quarrel. You understand? Kali is there when there's illicit sex, intoxication, eating, and gambling. And believe me, of course, those are the four legs of the bull that are referred to here in this particular verse. Believe me, when people really get into these things and they become intoxicated through other means, through not only smoking and not only drinking, but intoxicated with the material energy. Or gambling. Devotees gamble sometimes. How do they gamble? They invest in Forex. You know what Forex is? Foreign exchange, trying to make money. So as people think, or what cyber money, you probably know what I'm talking about. No, probably you don't. Anyway, better you don't know what I'm talking about. So it brings Kali there. Sometimes it's like in Krishna's pastimes, a demon will actually appear as a coward boy. Vatsasura, right? Palambasura. He'll come as a coward boy, a nice little coward boy. Oh, let's have a competition. We'll carry Balaram on our backs. And then all of a sudden, Balaram is being carried by Palambasura, and Palambasura manifests his actual form. Balaram says, why? This carrier has changed. And of course, Balaram, being a fighter, boom! That's it for Palambasura. So in the same way, sometimes there's, people maybe acting as devotees or whatever, and they've been sent by Kali. And so just be careful, don't go around pointing that out to people. But we have to see, so causing quarrel. So the devotees always have to fight. We have to fight that Srila Prabhupada's understanding of Krishna consciousness is the center, the lens through which we see the Krishna conscious philosophy. We have to fight legally sometimes for different reasons, isn't it? So Kali was like, but specifically we fight by preaching Krishna consciousness. So anyway, so this is Kali Yuga. And anyway, so I feel that's a really important point to understand that we are Kshatriyas, we're fighters. Prabhupada said, we don't want sit-down type of devotees. We want people who fight for Krishna. Prabhupada said at the end, he says, give me the benediction of dying like Arjuna in the Battle of Kurukshetra. Prabhupada came to the UK, London, even though his body was like a bag of bones, just to fight for Krishna. And practically speaking, anyone else would have remained in Vrindavan at that particular point, because ultimately Prabhupada went back to Vrindavan. But that was Prabhupada's mood, Prityanaya Sadanam Vinashaya Chadushkritam. That was his Guru Maharaj's mood. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. His Guru Maharaj was called Nrsimha Guru. Anyway, so you gotta be careful. He was called Nrsimha Guru because if anyone was preaching Mayavad philosophy, he would just like pick them up like this, and strong devotee. And you have other devotees like Sripad Madhvacharya, who was so strong, he would basically wrestle with tigers. So Vaishnava is not meant to be weak. Vaishnava is meant to be strong in dealing with these things. Okay, so that's one thing. Asura Vamsha. What else do we have here? Okay. Twam unto you, there's no put into difficulty, devoid of strength, stand up and eat. Anyway, that's in reference to the four legs of the bull: cleanliness, mercifulness, truthfulness, and austerity. And in Kali Yuga, we see truthfulness disappearing. So anyway, so these are some of the points. So we can take questions now. Who has some questions? What's that?
When I'm born in Earth planet, I don't know when I'm gonna die.
That's right.
When I go to Swarga with all the punya, still I don't know when I'm gonna die there as well. So the punya, I don't know how much punya I have, and when the punya finishes.
I think you know in Swarga. In Swarga, you get, according to the Mahabharata, you get the warning that your garland starts to fade. That means death is pretty close. Not death. That means coming back to the earth planet. Shunay punya marja, locum vishanti. You get a little warning there. Here we don't, generally we may or may not get warning. Sometimes we do. It's not always. Sometimes someone may pass away in an automobile accident, someone may pass away from COVID, someone may pass away from old age. You know, Prabhupada certainly had, I don't want to say warning, but Prabhupada knew when he was going to pass away. I mean, it was actually predicted almost to the day by the astrologers when Prabhupada was going to leave. But Prabhupada was always prepared. You have to be always prepared. Who knows? You know, there's this saying, I think it may be Shakespeare, nobody knows for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. You understand what it means? You don't know. You don't know if you're going to be here tonight. You don't know if you're going to be able to eat prasadam tomorrow. You don't know if you're going to be conscious tomorrow. Padam padam yad vipadam natation. Anyway, in the meantime, we fight for Krishna. We do the right thing. We always do the right thing. Is it? Such a truthfulness. We stick up for Dharma while we're here in this body. So, who else has a question?
Prabhupada in the paper, she writes that exactly what's happening today, like the state heads and just the
Right.
atheist leaders, they manufacture so many deadly weapons and
Yeah.
to kill and then and in the previous yugas, later in the Prabhupada says that Krishna incarnates to annihilate them.
Yeah, so in this yuga, Krishna incarnates through his holy name.
That's right. That's what I was coming
To annihilate the demoniac mentality. We don't hurt people, their physical body, but a demon, someone who's acting, I don't want to call anyone a demon, but if someone who's acting demoniacally can be rectified.
Yeah, that's what I was coming to. Like in this yuga, Krishna incarnated the holy name. So the holy name is our weapon.
Yeah, that's our weapon. Sango Pandasra Parshadam, Yagyahi Sankirtana Prayar, Yajanti Hi Sumedasa. Yeah, so we don't fight literally with our hands. But there's other types of fighting, strong preaching, like that, very strong preaching. Sometimes we have to consult with lawyers and do different things, fight for Prabhupada. Sometimes it's required. It's not a devotee is not just like Prabhupada was so strategic in fighting for the temple in Mumbai. So strategic. I mean, Prabhupada employed politics in order to do it. What did Prabhupada do? I mean, there's this story, one of my favorite stories, is that at one point the devotees canceled the sale contract. Prabhupada was really upset with that. And he wanted to reinstitute the sale contract. So he called for the person who was selling the land. His name was Mr. Nair. And so Mr. Nair came with his guru to prevent Prabhupada from bewitching him or something like that. Okay, Guru Maharaj, protect me. So he came with his guru so that he wouldn't sell the property to Prabhupada. He knew Prabhupada had some power. So Prabhupada was very nice with him, talking to him and his guru. They were sitting down eating prasadam. And then right after prasadam, Prabhupada started yawning. Now, anyone who knows Prabhupada knows that he didn't yawn, because he was in perfect control of the senses, Normally all of you, like that. And the thing about yawning, Prabhupada's so intelligent that when you yawn, it sort of like gets other people to do the same thing. Isn't it? See, everyone's already doing it. Putting you to sleep. So when you yawn, so Prabhupada yawned, and the Mr. Nair said, "Oh, Swamiji, you must be tired. You should rest." And Prabhupada said, "Yes, I'm tired." Wasn't tired. Prabhupada was thinking, what do I gotta do to get this guy? And so Prabhupada goes in his room. They go, the Guru and Mr. Nair go in their room, and they go to sleep. And then Prabhupada calls for his devotee, Mr. Krishna Maharaj, and he said, just go very quietly into Mr. Nair's room. Wake him up, but don't wake his Guru up. And tell him I need to see him. So he goes into Mr. Nair's room. And Mr. Nair, he said, wait, my God, Mr. Nair. And so Mr. Nair, when you're sleeping, when you first wake up, you're pretty groggy. So Mr. Nair gets up. Prabhupada knew exactly when to approach him. He said, Prabhupada says, all right. So he walks in, and the Prabhupada said, you agree to sell land? Oh, yeah. So Prabhupada was a fighter. And then what happened is that the Guru finally wakes up. He looks, Mr. Nair's not there, so he walks in and says, what'd you do? Sign the contract. Oh, no. That's what you brought me for. So anyway, that's strategy. So Prabhupada's a real fighter like that. And he fought for the property. There's a whole book about it, which Giriraj Maharaj wrote, about the fighting for the property in Mumbai. Prabhupada didn't just say, well, I guess we're not supposed to have this property, but Prabhupada put the deities there. Prabhupada promised there would be a temple, and Prabhupada fought like anything. And after they got the property, Prabhupada had a feast served out for everybody. Mr. Nair by that time had died. And anyway, Prabhupada had a feast served out for everybody. It was like a victory feast. So, Kshatriya. It's a Kshatriya mood. Prabhupada had the Kshatriya mood. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati had it. Bhaktivinoda, that's our sampradaya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Isn't it? And Lord Chaitanya, he had that mood. Fighting for Krishna. Obviously, as I said, not physical fight, but sometimes Prabhupada had to be a little tricky. Like that. So, it's practical. Does it make sense? Yeah, not that we just okay, you're acting like a rascal, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. You're trying to take something away from Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. You're trying to attack a devotee, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. We're not advocates. If a devotee is attacked physically, we'll defend them. We're not going to just say, hey, that's your karma. That's Krishna's mercy, Sumukh. The dacoit's attacking you and I'm there. I said, isn't that interesting, seeing Sumukh's karma? Chant Hare Krishna, Sumukh. We'll have a big Harinam Kirtan for the dacoit while he's attacking you. Yeah, the holy name can destroy the demoniac propensity, and we've experienced that. At the same time, we do other things too. When you're running a movement, I mean, not only do we have to employ some Kshatriya mentality, we also have to employ some Vaishya mentality. You know, the management of the movement. You have to be responsible for finances. For example, here in Fiji, you have to submit your financial report to the government every year, right? And if you don't do that, you get in trouble, right? Your taxes. You can't say, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Govinda, Jaya Jaya, Gopala, Jaya Jaya. Anyway, so now it's time to do the TVs. Thank you very much. All glories to His divine grace.